Good morning, everyone. This is my guidepost, my thought for the day. And today I base it on a poem that I wrote at the beginning of last year, and it's called Holding Me Back. I began, arms lifted me high, love rained down on me, trust was earned, trust was given. As I grew, patterns were set for me, life was planned ahead, expectations, hopes, being was changed to doing. Affection, caring, challenge, encouragement given to stand out from the crowd, whilst fitting in, at best, mixed messages. Voice in my head that was meant to being who I was meant to be. I can't escape the definition that those who love me set. It has become my mindset, yet a still small voice speaks quietly from within, dares me to listen, dares me to be, to follow the inner calling, deny everything that is holding me back, and just to be. One of the most beautiful things about being a granddad 5 times and a dad 4 times is having had those very special moments in those early years, especially after the baby is born, of just holding this presence in your arms. And there's no inner voice, there's no conditioning, there's just being. There's a human life with all its potential, with all its possibility, with all its wondrousness, the isness in your arms as you look down. And each time it's just as beguiling, it's just as wonderful to look into a young baby's eyes that has nothing except for being to offer. They don't know how to do diddly squat. They can't help themselves at all. They need feeding, they need clothing, they need keeping warm, they need everything, a roof over their heads. They've got none of those things. And you're it, especially with your firstborn. They're totally reliant on you, and you have to look in their eyes and say, hey, I'm new to this. I really don't know how I'm going to get through looking after you properly, being the best parent that you could want. However, I love you. And because I love you, it's all going to be okay. So thinking about that moment for you, when you were that tiny baby in arms, there was just presence, just being, just isness there. And you hadn't been told how to wipe your nose or tie your shoelaces or how to feed yourself, nothing. You knew nothing. But you were just as much a human being, in fact, probably more so, according to this point, than you are now. Because the conditioning, and it's all well-meaning, from parents at least, we hope so, that the conditioning, how to fit in, but how to stand out. And it's a mixed message. Now, we want you to be you, but we don't want you to be so much you that you stand out and you embarrass yourself and the family. Oh no. And then coming to this moment at the end of the poem, where it's saying, I just might be able to be myself again. Now that I've recognized, now that I'm awake, now that I'm aware that I am pure presence, I am divinity wrapped up in humanity. Now that I know that all the things that I've ever been told are superfluous to existence, they don't really matter. None of it matters. Everything should be challenged. Everything that we've ever been taught to believe, whether it's religious, spiritual, or political or philosophical, or even how you behave within a family. Just because everybody else says that's the way it should be done, you shouldn't feel constrained to do it that way. You should be moving always from your heart, from pure presence. The fact that we are something more than all the collected stuff that's been fed into us, into our consciousness. We are the consciousness that it was fed into. And because we are that consciousness, we need to be able to be in contact with that higher self. We talked about the gut reaction, the deep calling to deep. We talked about that's where we don't just rationalize or feel, it's where we know. And when we know who we're supposed to be, we can relax and say, well, I'm really sorry that the way I am offends you or goes against your rules, or I have love in my heart. I have a good intellect. I'm able to work things out for myself. I'm not doing anything deliberately to hurt anyone, but I am being myself. And this is what this poem is getting at. I entitled it Holding Me Back. What's holding me back? What's holding you back is the well-meaning conditioning and the non-well-meaning conditioning, because if you want to look at a sinister side to this, society needs everyone to go through the same schooling and expectation of getting a job and the way that society is run, because society needs each one of us to play our part. And it's a lot easier to tell people what to do rather than to find out what they want to do and encourage them to find out what they want to do. So it's like an en masse thing that's happening, and that isn't something that is gentle and loving that's being done to us. It's kind of the norm, and I just want to question and query everything that's being told to me, and not to the point of being. I call myself a love anarchist. I don't see myself as wanting to disrupt anybody. I just want love to win in the end. And the way it can begin to win is right down in the pit of your own stomach, where deep calls to deep, where you have communication with the higher self, with God, with the universe, and you can find out who you were meant to be. And when you're in communion or conversation with the higher self, then all the rules in the world will not be broken if you're acting out of love, using your intellect to work out, will this harm someone else? And then moving forward and being you. And that's my challenge this morning. I've called it holding me back, but really it's saying, please don't hold me back anymore. Don't. And who's actually holding me back? It's my own thoughts that's holding me back in the poem. I'm not blaming my parents or my teachers or my employers. I accepted that. I had free will this because it sounds like a cool thing to do, or the thing that'll get me into the least trouble, or whatever reasoning I gave myself to accept what other people said I should be. And I am wanting to stop being held back by that. I want to hear from the higher self. I want the deep to speak to my deep. I want to know who I am sent here to be. And I've got a jolly good idea. I think, that I am here to inspire people, to challenge people, to make people think. Maybe there is a different way to live, and to coach. I'd love to coach you if that's something that you're looking for at the moment, a life coach. So anyway, I'm going to read the poem again. I'm going to end the broadcast. It's called Holding Me Back. When I began, arms lifted me high, love rained down on me, trust was earned, trust was given. As I grew, patterns were set for me, life was planned ahead, expectations, hopes, being was changed to doing. Affection, caring, challenge, encouragement given to stand out from the crowd whilst fitting in, at best mixed messages. And now the training given, the voice in my head that was made for me is holding me back from being who I was meant to be. I can't escape the definition that those who loved me set me. That those who love me set. It has become my mindset. Yet a still small voice speaks quietly from within, dares me to listen, dares me to be, to follow the inner calling, deny everything that is holding me back, and just to be. Namaste.